Hello and welcome to day 2 of your STAAR review. So this is a video for my people who are asynchronous, which means that you're not the normal class time. But for those of you guys who are in the normal class time, just join the meet. Participate with us live. I mean, you're going to have to anyways. It's not going to let you be asynchronous from me during class. Okay, bell ringer. So first things first, you're going to answer this question right here in that box. Then here is how we answer that question. So the secondary consumers are going to eat the primary consumers, and this is the proof of that. All right, reminder of our new class structure. Make sure that you click and open this up in the new tab. That way you always have something to quickly look and glance back to. That's everything you need to know. Our lesson goals, you can go ahead and read that to yourself. I'm not going to read that to you. Levels of organization. So I want you guys to go ahead and again read this to yourself about the individual organisms, all this and whatnot. Oh, they got something fancy now. This is different. Okay. Remember that our levels of organization go from large, such as the biosphere, the entire Earth, and they get increasingly simple and more specific as we get down to the cellular level. You're going to drag the red dot from the most to the least complex. Then next you will answer this question by reading and responding to it. Talking about the main body systems. So you're going to use your pen tool and that note sheet that I told you to open up to answer these questions by circling or making check marks or X's, whatever you choose. Okay, now let's quickly go through our body systems. So I have them in pairs because it's just easier sometimes for us to remember them that way. So the nervous system is going to be your brain, spinal cord, and nerves. Of course, it's going to control your body using electrical signals. You have your skeleton that you know protects your internal organs, right? That's what your ribs are designed to do. And they also give you your structure to your body. So like your face structure is determined by your skull, right? Something that students maybe sometimes forget is the fact that there is red blood cell production in the skeleton. It's this process known as hematopoiesis, which is awesome. Circulatory system's job is to, again, circulate blood, transport blood around the body, and we already know that blood carries things like oxygen, carbon dioxide, sugars, all kinds of nutrients and waste products are carried through the blood. Also hormones, right? Respiratory system, breathing in and out, getting oxygen into those lungs. Digestive system is for chemically breaking down food, eating and chewing. If you think that I'm going too fast, it's because this is a review, so I'm not going in depth. Obviously, you'll pause the video and read as you need to. Digestive system is designed to chemically break down your food through eating and chewing. Muscular system is designed for movement. So not only like your bicep muscles or your leg muscles that help you to move, there's also smaller muscles that you maybe don't even think about, such as like the muscles that move your eyeball, that allow you to blink. Of course, it has to be muscles that do that. You also have muscles in your small intestine that squeeze food along, which is really helpful and cool. The endocrine system is the hormone and gland system that controls the body using chemical signals. And then we have the reproductive system that uses those glands and those hormones to do things like make babies, get pregnant, puberty, menstruation, all of that stuff. The immune and lymphatic system typically go hand in hand because they both are designed to protect the body from pathogens and disease. The lymphatic is just the more fluid things such as your lymph nodes. If you've ever had swollen lymph nodes, then you know that that usually happens whenever you're sick because your sinuses are draining. The integumentary system, it is the longest name, and it is in fact the largest organ that you have, your skin. The integumentary system is the protective layer of the body and is your barrier to your outside world, sometimes called the epidermis and whatnot. The excretory system is a liquid waste system such as sweat and urine, not to be confused with solid waste, that is digestive system. Okay. Of course, these organs are going to always interact with different ways to keep us alive. So whenever you breathe, you're breathing in and out. Which two organ systems are actually responsible for breathing, and how do you know that? Well, most students have been saying respiratory, and it's like, yes, that is so correct. But did you completely, like, how did you see this and you didn't see that? Like, how do you know that? Obviously, it's respiratory, but how? What is it actually doing for you? Then we have gas exchange example. Which two organ systems are responsible for exchanging gases, and how do you know? Hint, hint. I've given you two pictures. There's two systems you got to talk about. Just saying. Plant systems. So you're going to drag a dot to the system that takes in water and minerals, and drag the red dot, or drag the blue one, to photosynthesis. So either up here or down here. Tell me what that is. The functions of the roots and the shoots. So the roots are designed to anchor the plant, they're designed to absorb water, they're designed to store sugars, and they're designed to prevent erosion, while the shoots are designed to transport water and sugars throughout the plant. Right, that's that above ground part of the plant, and the leaves are designed to do photosynthesis. Higher root surface area. So we're talking about root surface area. I want you to kind of think about it as like a sponge. So think about this as a small sponge, a medium sponge, and a large sponge. So the small sponge, small sponge has a small surface area. The big sponge obviously has a big surface area. Would you think that the big sponge or the big roots would take up more water or less water? And tell me why. The shoot system does transport, so xylem does water transport, X is close to W in the alphabet, and phloem produces products of photosynthesis. Notice that these are all P's, and we already know that photosynthesis produces glucose sugars. Stomata are those pores on the inside of, or the underside of the leaf. They release H2O and they take in CO2. So if a plant is in a dry and hot region, would the stomata be open or closed, and why? Notice I have a sentence stem for you, and notice that you need to also read that information. Plant reproduction. So reproductive structures of plants include flowers, seeds, and fruits. So remember that flowers are the reproductive structures of plants that produce pollen and eggs. So we have a male part. What is going to be its function? Then we have a female part of the flower. What is its function? And so here are the parts of the plant. Notice that I put the female parts in pink and the male parts in blue to make it easy to understand. So the anther and the filament we know produces sperm, and plant sperm is essentially, or not is essentially, plant sperm is the pollen grain. We know they're going to produce the pollen grain, and then some way, somehow, maybe through a bee or a butterfly or just through the wind, that pollen is going to be moved from the anther into the stigma, down the style, and into the ovary, where fertilization will actually occur. So as the event, that's how pollination actually occurs. Here are the plant fertilization events. I'm not going to read these to you. You can read them on your own. I know you can do it. I am so proud of you. Again, I'm not reading it to you. True or false, the pollen is like sperm for plants. Then we get on to tropisms. So tropism is going to be a biological phenomenon that indicates growth or turning movement of a biological organism, usually a plant, in response to an environmental stimulus. In tropisms, this response is usually dependent on the direction of the actual stimulus itself. So there are all these different types of tropism. We have geogravity, phototropism, thigmo, hydro, and then other plant responses. Notice that all of these words have something in common. They all have the word tropism in it. And we literally just learned that the word tropism means a plant growth response. So we know that there's some sort of growth response, and it's responding to whatever this first part of the word is. I'm not going to tell you what the first part of the word is, what it means. You should be able to use logic and figure that out. So I went ahead and did photo. Photo means light, as we all know. So phototropism would be growth response to light. Now I want you to give me the rest of these: geogravity, thigmo, and hydro. Then we're on to practice problems together. And so you're going to do what the problem actually tells you to do. So if right here it says read and highlight, what do you think you're supposed to do on this slide? Read and highlight. If this problem says asking what are you supposed to put in this purple box? What the question is asking. If this thing is saying relevant knowledge, what are you going to put here? Any relevant knowledge that you have, okay? So please follow the directions, and then you're going to have independent practice on your own, okay? All right, that's just a quick overview of what you're supposed to do. Now you go and do great things.